Brothers and sisters of Outlaw Nation, I have a treat for you tonight. Tonight I have Michael of Sunflower Dead. I would try your last name, but I'm afraid I'd butcher it, brother. So welcome tonight. How are you doing?
What's up, my friend? I'm doing good. How you doing today?
Good. I'm doing good. It's been a beautiful day. Got a lot done.
Nice.
So tell us a little bit about your band for some of our listeners, because I know some haven't heard of you.
Okay.
I've just started listening to you. I got to tell you, I love your stuff, man. You've got a fantastic voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, we are Sunflower Dead from Southern California, and we started back in 2012. Put out our first record back then independently, and since then we have, put out 2 records and toured our butts off all over the U.S. and Europe and the U.K. Been on radio and done a lot of big stuff, and just kind of been building up the value of the band. And originally we kind of had more like a Kiss kind of thing going on, where we had makeup and stage personas. And then on this, our 3rd record, which is coming out on October 19th, called through EMP Label Group, which is David Ellison from Megadeth record label, we decided to take the makeup off and write a much more serious and emotionally heavy album, and that's kind of where we are now. So all the work we have done has led up to where we are now, and put us in a good spot to get to the next level with what we're doing with Sunflower Dead.
Right. So speaking of all the European tours and stuff like that, and you actually had a chance where Jonathan Davis of Korn came in and did guest vocals on the title track for, I believe it's Fixing to Get Weird. Is that the name of it?
Our second album is called It's Time to Get Weird. And John did a duet with me for that title track, which just kind of happened by accident. It wasn't really a planned thing, but John was gracious, and we went down to his studio in Bakersfield, and he cut vocals right in front of me for it, and it ended up being one of our main singles on the record, and it did great for us, and John was killer. And also at that time, Korn took us to the UK, and we opened up for them on a couple shows on their 20th anniversary of their debut album. So that was cool.
Oh man, that had to have been a ride and a half right there. I mean,
yeah, it was, because that's my favorite Korn album, and to watch them play it front to back was incredible. And then not only watch them play it, but we opened the show, so killer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and looking down the list, I mean, you guys you've had a chance to open for some fantastic bands. I mean, Avatar, I get a chance to see them again here in a couple of weeks, and I'm just, I'm stoked for it. So
Avatar's show is incredible. Those guys are so tight and rad on stage, and musically and their performance and their songs. It's just going to be an amazing show. You'll love it.
Right. So, you guys, you got a new album coming out October 19th, and you are signed to Dave Ellison's label. That's got to be just killer to get to work with his people.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they're awesome to us, and they work hard, and it's a really good relationship, because we've always been a DIY band and building it up on our own, and so we kind of have that attitude ingrained in our head. But we also knew on this record we needed to step it up and sign with a label. And so it was kind of like a good fit, because they obviously like DIY bands that, basically, get themselves to a certain point, and then they can come in and bring their expertise, and while we continue to work our butts off, and it's a pretty good partnership so far.
Yeah, good. And the album drops, like you said, October 19th. You've got a supporting tour coming up.
It's a co-headlining tour with us and another one of the bands on our record label. Our label mates are called Another Lost Year, and it goes all through the U.S. There's 22 shows right now, and in fact, I think at the end of the tour, I was just told today on like the last 4 or 5 dates, another EMP band is joining the tour, and they're called Co-op, and that features on vocals Alice Cooper's son sings for that band. And that's why, the band's called Co-op, which is really Coop, for Cooper. So, so it's going to be a really killer tour, and we're doing some of our own headlining dates. We're doing the co-headlining dates with Another Lost Year, and then we'll wrap it up with dates with Co-op, and it's going to be a nice introduction into the new Sunflower Dead with our new members and no makeup and the new album, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now talk about the album. How long did it take you to get it all set? And I know it takes a lot of time to write songs and get lyrics and do all that. About how long have you guys been working on it?
Well, we got off tour we thought we were going to get off tour in November of 2016, and we thought the plan was to finish the touring cycle for this Time to Get Weird record, and then go right in and start demoing songs for our third album. So when we got off tour in November of that year, we started demoing, and then the guys decided that they really weren't interested in the songs we were demoing. They wanted to go a different direction. They wanted it to be much more real, much heavier, much more emotional and straightforward from me. So we kind of threw out everything we wrote, and then in January of 2017, we started writing from scratch. So we wrote for a couple months, and then we ended up doing another tour for this Time to Get Weird album, and then we came back, and in about 2 more months of writing, we came back in, June of 2017, did some more writing for 2 months, and then did pre-production and recorded the record in September of 2017. So, I mean, all in all, even though it was spread out over months, it really wasn't a lot of time to write the 20 or so songs we needed to pick an album from.
Right. And see, and I don't think a lot of people understand how much time you guys actually spend on the road supporting an album, and how it does cut in the time on the next one. I mean, you've got to make that money now, but you've also got to start working on the future too at the same time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's definitely a juggling act, but it is what it is. You got to work to make money to support the band and tour and keep the name out there and get more fans, and then you got to keep writing more material. For us, it's always a matter of, with the writing, because we can write and write and write and write, but it's always a matter of kind of like where we are at the moment and how we've grown up to that moment. That kind of dictates what kind of record we're going to put out. And obviously on this album, when people hear it, and the people that have heard our new single Victim can already kind of tell that, we've made a huge step forward from where we were in removing kind of like, the schlockiness of it and the triteness of it, which was fun, and we had a great time. But there's just something about us now that needed to be dead serious and just kind of lay things out on the line. I don't know what preceded that, but it definitely was where we were when we wrote this new record.
Right. Oh, well, I can tell as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more serious here and there on some aspects. I'm still the joker kid that I was, but, at some time I'm kind of like, okay, I got to be a little more serious. I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, when we finished touring this Time to Get Weird cycle, we lost our rhythm section. So we were just down to 3 of us, and we all were a bit agitated over the position we were in. And I think that and not getting certain respect that we maybe not felt we deserved but wanted put us in like a state of mind where we're like, all right, it's time to get real serious on this and really show ourselves what we can do. And in turn, that'll show people what we really have to offer.
Right. And in turn, you absolutely meshed with the new album coming in, and everything's worked back into where it needs to be, right?
Exactly. Yep. It took a good, it took us a good, a year and a half to, we wrote the record, we got a new band, we a new look, new songs, we recorded the record, mixed the record, mastered the record, got a record deal, got a new booking agent, and now we're on tour. The record's coming out. The video's been done. That's out. The song's going to radio next week. It took a good year and a half of just busting our ass to rebuild and rebrand this band, and it feels good to finally say that, okay, we're on the threshold of being a band. And on Saturday we start touring, and we can actually be a band. It's just taken a lot of work in the last year and a half to get here.
Right. And you say Friday night you kick off the tour. Is that right?
Yes. Saturday in Sacramento is the first date.
Saturday in Sacramento. Okay. Where's your favorite place to play in the U.S. when you're out on tour?
My favorite place to play in the U.S., I don't know if I have a favorite place to play. I always say, I love the Machine Shop because they treat you so well, and that's in Flint.
Right.
And I love when we go to Texas because the people are so wonderful when you play there. I can't really say I dislike playing certain places, but my favorite, I don't know if I have a favorite because I'm just kind of of the mindset I'm ready to go all the time. So if there's a stage, let's go.
Yeah. Now, how long will you go on a cycle this time? You're gonna start this Saturday, and you're running until the wheels fall off.
Well, this one is just under a month, and so far it's 22 shows, and it looks like a couple more will be added. But then we'll do probably a couple one-off, through the holidays, and then come January, be right back out there, and all through 2019, and hopefully a lot of 2020, we'll be promoting this record and touring, if God willing, if all goes well. Right. And so we're looking forward to a lot of touring. That's the hope, at least.
Now, I noticed that you've got a Kansas City date. I believe, is it Aftershock? Is that right?
Yes, we are playing an Aftershock on the 14th of October.
14th of October. I've got tons of friends that live there. I've been sending out some messages saying, hey, you guys have got to go see these guys. They are great.
Nice,
so
thank
hopefully
you.
A bunch of my friends show up and represent for me and,
cool.
give you guys a good crowd.
Nice.
So I gotta go back to one of the songs that I saw that you had covered. And I believe I'm going to butcher the title of it. It's either Every Breath You Take or Every Move You Make. Is that it? Okay.
That's it.
You guys did a fantastic cover of that. Me and my brother always felt that that's kind of like the Stalker song.
It is the Stalker song.
And you guys did such a fantastic creeper version of it. Talk a little bit about that, because I was just blown away. I was like, wow, that is cool.
that was done for our first album, and it kind of was done on a whim. We just were writing songs when we were a fresh band in 2012, and just trying to figure out who we were, and the idea of our first album back in those days was to literally just kind of put a very colorful palette of music on the first album.
Right.
So wherever we grew to, we could go in, that direction. But we were sitting in a bar one night, and my guitar player was drinking Jack Daniels, and I said to him, hey, would you like to do a cover on our first album, or at least have one in our back pocket? And he's like, he goes, yeah. He goes, let's do that. He goes, we should do that song from Top Gun, that love song, Every Breath You Take. And I said, Every Breath You Take wasn't in Top Gun. He goes, I think that was Take My Breath Away or something, Take Your Breath Away.
Yeah.
And I said, but we should do Every Breath You Take because it fits perfect with us. And it is a song, it's not a love song, it is a song about like stalking someone because you're obsessed with them. Yeah. And I said, what if we rewrote it, and changed it drastically to, kind of do it our way, and he was like, that's great. So we just took we sat there for a couple nights and literally just, instead of speeding it up and making it all heavy and fast or something nonsensical, we actually slowed it down and made it extremely dynamic because the original song is very hypnotic and it just kind of churns along. It's an incredible song. But to do that as a heavy band would be kind of boring, I think. So we decided to make the song extremely dynamic with a lot of highs and lows. Take you on a journey that way.
When I heard it, I stopped. I looked at my brother and I pulled out the earphones. I was like, "Man, you've got to hear this." So
that's really cool.
And he was just like, "That is so cool." That nobody does a song like that. Takes a risk with it. I mean that honestly shows what kind of balls you have, because it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and it's such a great song and an iconic song that it's like one of those songs you don't want to mess with. But when we were working on our version of it, we both felt so strongly about it that we just were like, this is great. And we used to play that every night on when we were touring for our first album cycle. And it went over great. Now we haven't played that in a while. I actually think we're not going to play it live on this touring cycle, but we might be working out an acoustic version of that to go into radio stations with and play it live on radio stations, just to, do something a little different on air. So
that
might be something
killer.
that's happening. Yeah.
That would absolutely be killer. That would crush people. I was blown away by it. I had to bring that up because I was like, I'm going through your music and stuff, and I was like, no way.
That's cool.
So, but and going back, I mentioned earlier your voice. Do you spend time going to, voice trainers, working with people like that? Because you have a stunning voice. I mean,
thanks.
Yeah. When I think of metal, or I think of, that, I expect a lot of screaming. But when they sing, we can go either way with it. Sometimes.
Yeah, right.
And you're just phenomenal. Do you have a, I know this is funny for a metal rock band. Do you have a choir background?
I do not have a choir background or a theater background with my vocals. I did have a private vocal instructor when I was younger, because when I started being a vocalist in music when I was a little kid, I started doing death metal. And then as I got older, I kept thinking, there's got to be more than just this dimension. Now, I love that style of music and all that, but I just wanted more. And I took vocal lessons for a couple years, and I just work my ass off on it to try and get better each tour, each performance, each record. So it just gets better and better. And that's kind of like my thought process. So I guess vocally, I'm almost like a late bloomer. I wasn't very good when I was younger, and I'm starting to really grasp certain things that make you a professional vocalist, and so it's pretty cool to be able to do certain things now. Though, I like all people, and the rigors of touring. It's a very difficult thing to do every single night, and you just have to be careful and watch it. So
Right. In fact, I think it was who was it? M Shadows just had to cancel some tour dates because
I had to get surgery again, and it's the thing is about singing in a rock or metal band. There's like an extra oomph you put into it to get it across because you're singing over those loud guitars or distorted guitars. So you're putting that extra oomph on your voice, no matter how you do it, whether you're M Shadows or Corey Taylor or even Bruce Dickinson. It doesn't matter. There's that extra bit of thing you put in your voice to really bring out the emotion of the song, and that takes its toll on your voice night after night. There's no doubt, and that's even when you take care of it and do all the right things, it still takes its toll because it's almost like an unnatural thing to do. So, but it is what it is,
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask on the choir is because I come from a family who could sing a cappella. There'd be 30 of them on stage.
Nice.
So when I hear a metal band that has a guy that can sing, I'm just like, holy shit, there it is.
Right on.
Cause for me, that's like the promised land because it's just some of my background. But I got one more question that I want to hit you up with.
Sure.
You toured with Hell Yeah at some point.
3 times.
We lost Vinny here recently.
Yeah.
Give me one of your best stories. Did you get a chance to hang out with him at any point?
Many times, and many times they would barbecue for us, and he would cook for us. Vinny's famous for cooking for bands he tours with. Here, I got a funny story for you. The first time we toured with Hell Yeah, it was our Sunflower Dead second tour ever. So we were in, I think, Montana, and I don't know why I remember that, but I think because it was a crappy weather day, and I associate that with where we were. So it's like cold and cloudy and rainy, and I'm sitting backstage after Sunflower Dead's performance, and I hadn't really met Vinnie Paul yet. I'd seen him at a couple shows. This is early on. We're still proving ourselves and whatnot.
Right.
And I'm sitting backstage with all my makeup on, soaking wet with sweat, looking like an idiot. And Vinnie comes in, and there's nobody else backstage, and he sits down on a couch in front of me. And not a lot of people know this because they associate Vinnie with, his brother and them partying. But to me, he was very shy. That's how he came off, very shy and very reserved until he knew you. And so for about 30 minutes, I just sat on the couch and didn't say anything, and I'm sitting there soaking wet with my makeup on, and he sat on the other couch looking at me, and we just kind of looked at each other for about 30 minutes, and nobody said anything, and it was really awkward, but yet cool at the same time, because I wasn't bugging him like, hey, Vinny Paul, what's up, blah, 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 and he was just chilling, and I was chilling, but we were just staring at each other like weirdos. So it was kind of like strange, but then after that, everything was cool, you know. So I guess when you stare in someone's eyes for 30 minutes and don't say a word, you get close.
There you go. Well, Michael, I sure appreciate your time tonight. Once again, Sunflower Dead is the band. What is the name of the album?
The name of the album is Coma.
Coma. Coma comes out October 19th. Go out, get it, guys. These guys are a fantastic band. I look forward to you guys coming to Oklahoma City sometime.
We'll be there on October 16th. We're playing Oklahoma City.
Oh, really? Okay. Where at?
City Limits.
City Limits. Okay. I will try to be there.
I do believe it is the 16th. Yep, we're on October 16th. We're playing City Limits. Yep.
All right. I will try to be there and see if I can't catch you guys.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Once again, thank you, Michael.
Thank you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.